Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Let's Talk in English channel, where we make learning English simple and fun. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Mike. Hi, Sophie. Hi, everyone. It's great to be back. Thank you so much for sticking with us.
Mike, there's one question that almost every English learner asks, from students like me to busy working people. How do I learn English fast? People always want to find some kind of magic formula to improve quickly.
You got it, Sophie. People usually think fast means you gotta study 10 hours a day, staying up late and waking up early. But honestly, learning fast isn't about the hours. It's about learning smart. You don't have to quit your job or give up your current life.
That's awesome. And today, we're going to share 6 practical secrets that we've figured out during our own language journeys, like learning Korean. And these tips have helped so many of Mike's students succeed. We're going to help you switch from simply learning words to using English confidently in the fastest way possible.
Exactly. And I want to give you a little preview. One of these secrets, I call it active effort, is a big tip that can help you remember vocabulary almost forever. I'll share that simple 3-step formula later in the podcast, so make sure you stick around to the end.
Okay, Mike, let's not keep everyone waiting. Let's start with tip number 1, which is probably the most important for staying consistent. Plan and consistent practice.
The biggest key is consistent practice. I see so many learners, they get super motivated, study for 4 hours on a Saturday, watch movies, do exercises, then they don't touch English for 4 or 5 days. What happens then, Sophie?
Your brain forgets. Ugh, that's such a terrible waste of energy.
Exactly. So our solution is avoid cramming. Instead, study for 30 minutes every day. This is realistic for everyone, whether you're a busy exchange student like Sophie or a teacher like me. Small steps every day create big results.
And here's my blocks secret. Don't study the exact same skill every day, because that gets really boring, and you'll want to give up quickly. Plan helps your brain stay fresh and excited.
Refresh it every day. Here's our 30-minute daily suggestion. Monday, 30 minutes listening. For example, listen to our podcast, of course, and just try to get the main idea. You don't need to understand every single word.
Tuesday, 30 minutes reading. For example, read news about your hobbies. If you like cooking, read a food blog. If you're like me and enjoy self-improvement, read an article about self-help or productivity.
Wednesday, 30 minutes writing. For example, write 3 sentences about your daily routine today. Super simple, but effective.
Thursday, 30 minutes vocabulary. For example, review or learn 5 new phrasal verbs from a previous lesson, like get up, set up, hang out.
Friday, 30 minutes speaking. For example, talk to yourself in the mirror or talk about your weekend plans. You guys can practice speaking with our English shadowing practice series. We'll put the link in the description or comments.
I'm an exchange student, so my schedule is pretty busy, but I created a super simple plan like this. I spend 30 minutes every evening practicing a different skill. This way, I don't get bored and I feel like I'm improving every day. Mike's right. Plan helps your brain stay fresh and excited.
Okay, let's move on to tip number 2. Prioritize speaking and listening.
This tip is really important. When we learn a new language, the main goal is communication. So if you live abroad or want to use English every day, you got to dedicate 80% of your time to speaking and listening.
Absolutely. You need to follow the rule, listen before you speak. Listening helps your brain automatically learn pronunciation, intonation, and natural sentence structure. It's going to help you avoid that common word-for-word translation mistake.
I had that problem myself trying to translate word for word when speaking Korean, and the native speakers really couldn't understand what I was trying to say.
I teach a conversational class at Yonsei, and I always encourage my students to listen to everything in English that they enjoy, like self-help or business topics, to develop natural reflexes. You can listen to podcasts, watch YouTube, anything. Just make sure it's in English and you like it.
Tip number 3 is directly related to vocabulary learning. Learn phrases, not single words.
This is a classic mistake. So many people try to learn 20 isolated words every day, and a week later, they've forgotten them all.
Exactly. You need to learn in phrases because it helps you remember longer, speak more naturally, and grasp the context. Instead of trying to translate word for word, which is demotivating, focus on the phrase and understanding the main idea.
Let's use a personal example from Sophie.
Instead of just learning the word engineer, I learned the whole sentence, "My brother Jacob is an electrical engineer." I use personal details to remember the vocabulary. Or instead of just learning the word morning, I learned the whole phrase, "Every morning I make my coffee." Learning phrases helps the vocabulary go straight into your speaking skills.
Okay, tip number 4 is one that many people overlook, but it's super critical for language psychology. Forget perfect grammar and enjoy.
Mike, I know your students often get really scared of complex grammar.
It's true. Stop trying to be perfect. The pressure to use the correct past perfect continuous or complicated sentences slows you down. Just speak simply first.
Learning a language is just like learning to drive. At first, you go slow, you make mistakes, but you still have to do it to get used to it. You gotta accept the mistakes and correct them gradually through feedback.
You gotta enjoy the process. Learn through your hobbies. Sophie often relaxes by watching Korean dramas or listening to American music. This helps her brain organize the new words naturally.
And now for tip number 5, a tip that seems contrary to effort but is just as important. Rest and review.
Rest is actually the most important tip. Think about your brain.
It's a muscle.
Precisely. When you hit the gym, your muscles need rest to grow. Similarly, a tired brain learns slow. A happy, rested brain learns fast, much faster.
I often go for a walk around the Yonsei campus and take photos after class. That's how I relax, and it helps my brain work better.
And me, I go for a run by the Han River in the morning, and I feel like I learn Korean a lot faster when my mind is at ease.
And the review part is equally important. You need a review day, for example, Saturday, to go over things. No new words.
If you learn 30 new words every week, but forget 30 old words, you're standing still. The simple way is open your vocabulary notebook, read aloud, make a simple sentence.
For example, the coffee is on the table, or I feel confident today. Use old words in a new context.
And finally, tip number 6, that big tip I promised earlier. This is the strategy that helps you get vocabulary from your ear to your mouth. Active effort, active learning.
This is my secret weapon for learning Korean.
When you listen to a podcast in the car or while doing the dishes, that's passive listening. Your brain isn't really working. If you want to learn fast, you need active effort.
And the formula is pause, write, speak.
Exactly. You got to do these 3 things. 1, pause. Stop the material as soon as you hear a new phrase or sentence. 2, write. Write down the whole sentence containing the new word in your notebook. Don't just write the word alone. For example, if you hear, Mike is an early bird, write that whole sentence down.
3, speak. Repeat the sentence out loud, trying to mimic the speaker's intonation.
Wow. The effectiveness is incredible. The brain is working very hard through listening, seeing, writing, and speaking. I learned Korean this way too, and I'm honestly surprised at how much faster I remember things.
And, as I promised, tip number 6, active effort with the pause, write, speak formula is the way to ensure you remember vocabulary almost forever and don't forget it instantly. This is the fastest way to get vocabulary from your ear to your mouth.
So, to sum up, to learn English fast, you need a plan for 30 minutes a day. Prioritize speaking and listening, learn in phrases, use active effort, and finally, get rest so your brain works well.
You don't gotta apply all of these tips at once. You can use just 1 or 2 tips that feel best for you. Practice is the key. You don't need to study long hours, you just need to learn smart. The important thing is to enjoy the process.
If you found this content helpful and inspiring, please remember to like, share, subscribe to support the Let's Talk in English channel.
We want to hear from you guys. Comment below and share your 30-minute plan. For example, what are you going to study on Monday?
Or comment what topic you want to hear from us next time.
Thank you so much for listening.
See you in the next episode. Bye for now.